Welcome to Summit Pointe's Crisis Survival Teaching webinar. I am Carolyn, one of the clinicians at Summit Pointe, and my wingman group co-leader of awesomeness.
I'm Henrietta, peer support.
And we are here to present another skill that helps survive crisis. So one of the things that we always have with us is our body. And so there's a skill, self-soothing, which you can do anywhere, anytime, doing anything for any reason. And it both helps calm down intense emotions, and it helps get you refocused and through really difficult, challenging moments. Self-soothing is very basic. It just means tuning into your senses and then tuning out thoughts that may distract you from what you're noticing and possibly even enjoying.
So why, if it sounds so easy, is it so confusing?
So people have a lot of beliefs and values about how they should be using their time. And a lot of times those beliefs and values can make it difficult to tune into your five senses. Because I know I grew up hearing that message of be responsible, accomplish things. So if I wasn't doing that, it was hard for me to just look outside and go, wow, the sun is beautiful, or wow, that's a pretty bird, because that's not an accomplishment. Other messages that I know people have gotten are it's selfish to do something nice.
Okay, but as a mom, should my time be spent taking care of my kids?
Well, I would say yes, but you can do both. It isn't an either or. If you're spending time for yourself, it isn't like you're taking time away. And it is not selfish ever to take care of yourself. And a lot of times people think self-soothing is a big concerted effort. It can be as simple as you're brushing your hair or as you're in the shower, noticing, do I like the feel of the water on me? Or do I like the way it feels combing my hair, brushing my hair? And asking that simple question, do I like what I'm looking at?
So it could be lighting a candle and drinking a cup of hot chocolate?
It can be that simple. And I know I encourage people to build self-soothing into their daily routine. Don't go above and beyond and make it too complicated. So if you already start your day with a cigarette, by all means, tune in. What does that pack feel like? What does that pack smell like? What does it sound like? What does the smoke look like? What does it taste like in your mouth? That's all self-soothing is. However long you can hold your focus on it.
So it doesn't have to be an hour or, you know, doing this great big stuff. Because for me, it sounds intimidating to do something nice for me and struggle with but you should be, you know, fixing breakfast for the kids, or, you know, the dog needs to be let outside.
And all those things can still happen, but as you're making breakfast for the kids, what if you take a minute, breathe in what you're making and go, ooh, I like the smell of that. Or as I'm pouring that cereal, ooh, I like the way this one sounds. As you're taking the dog out, what do you notice? Do you hear birds? Do you feel the feel of the cold air in the morning? Do you like that? And it's okay if the answer is no.
Okay, well, that sounds doable, because I kind of like watch my dog interact with my neighbor's dog through the fence, and that brings a little bit of peace because they don't know what's going on and they're just looking at each other.
Exactly. And you were going to do it anyway. Often, if you are someone who's already struggling with allowing yourself the ability to take care of yourself, starting with what you're already doing. Are you already showering? Are you already doing laundry? Are you already, and then as you're already doing those, what does it feel like when you're doing them? What does it sound like when you're doing them? What does it smell like when you're doing them? There's nothing I like better than clean, fresh laundry smell. And I don't have to do it every single thing I fold, but maybe it's that first couple of like, yeah, and then I may fold.
Okay, so what I found I've been doing is baking a lot more.
Mhm.
And it kind of brings around this peacefulness because once it starts baking, I really notice when I start smelling it, it kind of like takes me back to a time where everything was slow. Does that make sense?
It does.
Where I didn't have the word.
And often self-soothing can be that doorway to opening ourselves up to beginning to have happiness. Whether it's through memories attached to things, like I'm loving quilting, and I just remember watching my mom quilt and just seeing how her stitching was and just being at her steps and having a lot of comfort there. And I'm noticing as I allow myself to notice that, I am also getting that comfort again.
Okay.
And that's all self-soothing is it's just allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to notice and to be present with what you notice. Sometimes it's going to open up other things, sometimes not.
So is that where the challenge rises? Giving permission to yourself versus the values you were taught, maybe?
And I think that's completely accurate. There are two usually challenges. One is, what have you learned? What have been messages about taking time and doing nice things for yourself? Have there been judgments attached to that are hard now to push through? And you may have to go back and think about, what makes me believe those things are still right in the way I want to live my life? Second barrier is our feelings. When we are really high intense stress, it's hard for us to make room to enjoy, but we can still tune in to feelings. So often if I have something that I'm doing that's very stressful, like going to the dentist, hate the dentist. I try and wear something that I like feeling. So as I'm laying there and, they have their thing in the mouth, I can just focus on the fabric. I may not like it, but I can bring myself down and focus.
Okay, so it's not going to possibly change anything other than to let us work through it.
Exactly.
And
Do
being
I like being
okay
at the dentist? Exactly. Do I like being at the dentist and being stressed and being, oh my God, and or do I like being at the dentist, still going through the dentist? And okay, at least I can tune out of some of those things and onto what my fingers are feeling.
Okay, so like going to the grocery store, high anxiety for me.
Yep.
But if I tune into, because I always wear sleeves, long sleeves there to hold on to, but if I feel the hem of the lining or the material, or if I'm smelling the produce, because that's where I end up a lot, then that's what will make it doable.
Exactly. It is tuning into those pieces that work for you, because not everyone tunes into the same five senses. I'm not a smell person, but I am a color person. So if you get me looking for different colors, I can handle that. Or shapes.
See, I'm the fruit person. Because I can go in and imagine. And can that be where it is just in that mind part where I can imagine tasting the grapes, or now melons are coming out, and just enjoying the taste and the feel of those.
Yeah, I think a lot of times our imaginary work can help. Like I've had people go in and have a hard candy in their mouth of whatever flavor they like. And whenever they felt themselves getting anxious, pull back into, well, what does your candy taste like? Or wearing earbuds and have some music playing that keeps you, what song is on now? And put back in the moment.
So it's possible to self-soothe with nobody even realizing.
Absolutely. I think we are, as human beings, looking for ways to soothe all the time because our senses are always going and interpreting information. It's just whether we allow ourselves to tune in or not.
Okay. Okay, that I understand.
Yeah. And it is a huge part of taking care of yourself and being nurturing to yourself. And so it is very important to learn.
Okay, so that's the hard part, nurturing yourself.
Yep.
What trick to start?
Right. And you can start with whatever sense you like or already am somewhat comfortable with. You know, I know you have wind chimes. Maybe it starts just listening for wind chimes. And when you hear them go, I like that. Me, I watch birds. So every time I see a bird, oh, I like that bird.
Okay. Okay, so it doesn't take, I like the fact that it doesn't take a lot of preparation or a lot of anticipation, but you can pull into it.
Yep. I kind of think of it like a butterfly landing. In a moment, it'll land, I can notice, and then it's probably going to fly away. But if I'm still, maybe that butterfly will stay there for a long period of time.
Okay, I know I watched my granddaughters and they go around, they were cleaning their yard and the youngest one picked up a flower and she was mesmerized and I kept watching and waiting and she didn't move for the longest time. And I just thought the innocence of youth, but then I got curious as what is she looking at? Why isn't she doing? So do our kids do it automatically maybe and not put an end to it?
Yeah, that's kind of how we change our relationship. As an infant baby, all we have are our five senses, and we're going through this trial and error of what gets reacted to and what doesn't, and what senses do we like and what don't we. And often we lose that through the course of growing up. Often people will talk about going back to the child mind and trying to rekindle with that sense of wonder and awe.
That kind of makes sense and kind of makes me want to cry. So,
well, I hope it opens doors. I hope people watching this give themselves that permission to at least treat yourself kindly. Tune into those senses. And it helps you enjoy your life.
I hope so because I want those eyes again. I want to know what it feels like to be mesmerized by a flower.
I can't wait to hear how it goes when we get to see each other in real.
I know, this is hard.